I'm Glitch, aka Alex. I originally wanted to do a Settlers 3 and 4 review, but I loaded up 3, and dear God, it proved a little bit too hard on the eyes. So over we go to 4. I say that, now I look at the footage at 3 and it actually looks a lot nicer than it is when you're playing it, but yeah, it was very pixelated on the actual playing of it, so yeah, it got abandoned from a playing point of view. Anyway, for me, this game has aged beautifully, presumably because of the isometric design, but just wow, I mean, there's so much detail and little quirks, like your settlers opening maps, kicking the dust, there's little critters running around that you can hunt. I mean, I don't know how old it is. So a quick Google has obviously revealed the answer. It's 24 years old. So, I mean, that's insane to look this good and be that old, to clarify for a game. If you've never played Settlers, it's a strategy game where you need to build your resource economy in order to develop your army and ultimately conquer your enemies. I would say that the resource element in particular is more nuanced than other real-time strategy games at the time, you know, like Age of Empires or Command and Conquer, as you have to manage the initial products, like individual products of stone and wood, then onto coal and iron, and you've got to supply your mines, for example, with their preferred food, so you've got a whole food economy as well. Alongside this, you need to produce new settlers, manage their tools and their what work they do, expand your borders with towers, you know, all of which is done through the UI on the side here, which, you know, you pick which building category you want. It's relatively intuitive, but I guess I've played this previously in the past, so I kind of know where I'm looking. Possibly a bit daunting number of buildings to choose from once you initially play, but you soon get the hang of it. You can probably see that the gameplay is pretty slow as none of your settlers really move at a pace. But I'll be honest with you, for me that's a plus because you have a bit of time to think and plan, and I don't have those sort of young person reactions anymore or enjoy that sort of stress of having to fire through the required actions to get the results. Campaign is enjoyable of what I played, and there's actually like decent mission variation. You know, while admittedly the goal, like in most strategy games, is almost always kill the enemy, maps have different opportunities to take advantage of or obstacles to overcome. You know, like limited building space, or there could be this lake fairy that if you build 12 shrines around her lake, you'll get a boon from her and stuff like that. And I was really impressed by how much is there. In terms of glitches or issues I ran into, there's a few. For some reason, it's either the boats or the sea itself, I'm not sure, caused my game to hard crash out. And with no like autosave function, they do have a a save reminder. Um, and like obviously with the slow pace of the game, this really sucked when it happened, and I had to like slowly like creep forward, save with the boats to see if I could get past the crashing point. They're not a huge part of the game, the boats themselves, but there is one mission where you are required to settle another island, you know, using these boats, and sort of grinding through that was a bit of a killer, but you know, overall pretty good. There was also a few instances of music overplaying, so you know the soundtrack's really good and it has different music depending on which civilization you're playing, or if you're over the Dark Tribe territory. And sometimes it would play tracks over itself. A quick reload usually fixed this, but it was just sort of a minor annoyance, that's all really. Now, what ultimately killed my campaign or my playthrough of the campaign on this game was Dark Tribe Mission 6. Now, fucking Dark Tribe Mission 6. Now, as I found out once I got swarmed by like a gazillion Roman and Viking troops in an already 2v1 situation, is the mission is borderline impossible unless you rush them in a very specific weak point that you would have no idea about unless you had already played this mission a lot or just looked on the internet like I did. I'll be honest with you, I checked out at this point, but despite this, I really enjoyed my time with it, you know, or time again with it. You know, there's so many campaigns on there that, and admittedly, a lot of them I didn't even try. And it's still like a solid strategy game with great mission variation, and it still looks really good for its age. I got it for like £3 on COG Galaxy, so for the amount of content, it's an absolute bargain. For me, it's like a 7 out of 10. Plus, I would say a +1 modifier for nostalgia, so like 8 out of 10. Yeah, give it a try. Let me know what you think.